What is happening, troops, and welcome back to the CCL. This is the second episode and we've already went through one episode of the league, but this time it's not about the league. This time you can win all the games you want in the league. That is not going to help you here because this is the Community Cup, a 16-man knockout tournament, and of course we're all really excited to see who gets knocked out. I think we're a bit more excited about to see who gets knocked out than excited to see who goes through. But yeah, we'll have a little look at the matchups we are going to be facing today. There's a couple that I said last time that jump out to me, and those specifically would be Cornish Marauders versus Oblique Ramblers. Not just saying that because Oblique Ramblers is my team, but because Marauders did so well and because there's so much expected of Oblique Ramblers going through, and also the Waterloo Hotspur game versus Bayern Munchies, and it's the latter of those two that we're going to watch today. And the main reason behind that is we didn't watch them last week when these two played each other, and now this is like another opportunity to see them. And also they did happen to score the joint highest amount of goals of any game that happened last week, so we already know it's a game that's heated up, and we already know there's some good stuff. There's a good rivalry potentially between the two, so hopefully that just cooks a little bit more in this game today. Some of the others pointing out to me are Relegation Athletic versus Wato Attack, mainly because we watched Relegation Athletic last week and we saw Hoof FC tear them apart a bit, and the Wato Attack managed to get a big win over Custard Donuts last time. So if Relegation Athletic get knocked out the cup this early as well, so it wouldn't be a good start for them whatsoever. ABT Boys as well, they managed to pick up a huge win too, so that's another team to look out for. But yeah, just the more, I could basically just sit here and say that about every single team, to be honest. Once you're seeing a little bit of what's playing out and what's happening, it gets really exciting. Just speculating who might win each game, and especially seeing if anyone manages to continue the momentum. For example, ABT Boys might have just picked up a lucky one. They got a 90 plus 1 minute goal over Donmaster Rovers, so that might have just been a one-off game. Maybe Donmaster Rovers isn't the best team. Maybe How I Met Your Matter's about to smash them. You never know. So it's just really, really good seeing that and seeing what could potentially happen with it. I'll just jump in to look at the injuries for a second, because that is something that's going to affect us, and there has been a couple of injuries picked up, but nothing too huge from the looks of things. So starting at the top, Bayern Munchies does have 3 injuries, but I think from the most part each of these players might be able to play, just because they're small injuries. I think they'll be able to get games out. We are still seeing all 3 people out for Cookie Collective, such a devastating start for them, but they did manage to pick up the draw last time, so it will be good to see if they are able to push forward with that and capitalise on that. So it will be interesting to see how much this affects them and if they can come back a little bit later in the season. Jadon Sancho's a big loss for Fletcher Jets. He's out for the next 2 weeks with a knee ligament injury, something that happened in a game that we didn't watch the game, but for Donmaster Rovers, Jovic got himself injured. Now, usually that's obviously a negative, but they have Haaland there, and Haaland wasn't their first choice for that last game, and it was only when Jovic got injured he came on and managed to score their only goal. So in a weird roundabout way, that might be a good thing. We've also got Jose, I'm going to say Jimenez. Usually I would pronounce that with a J, so I'm not too sure if the G sound is still Jimenez. So so he's injured for 2 weeks, so that's another loss to them. Sander Berge is still out. Christian Eriksen looks like he's going to be out for Custard Donuts still. Magnus Eriksson, spelled completely differently, he's out for 4 weeks. Aaron Ramsey's pulled a hamstring for Cornish Marauders, so there is a couple of fresh injuries here, and we'll see if that affects anyone. It does look like still all fingers are pointed towards the Cookie Collective with their big injuries, but you could also maybe look at Donmaster Rovers, who are 2 players down as well. And as I said before, the game we're playing today is the Waterloo Hotspur versus Bayern Munchies game, and I've got a couple of things that I noticed going through it. And the first most interesting thing is the top earner from every team is, of course, Lionel Messi from Bayern Munchies, but the bottom earner for every team is Diego Carlos from Waterloo Hotspur. That's really interesting. We have the top and the bottom clashing against each other throughout this game. Another thing is that Harry Maguire is the heaviest of all the players, a big boy at 15 stone 10. He's not a wee one, so let's see if the smaller players in Waterloo Hotspur are able to manage that in any way, because they might be up against a brick wall. But the thing to notice about Bayern Munchies is they are the top team for quite a lot of statistics. Starting here, you can see straight away they've got the highest wage and value. You'd have to think quite a lot of this is about Messi, but at the same time, still, that shows the kind of level that Bayern Munchies was going for. Big names, big name players all throughout the team was a big goal. They also are the smallest team of anyone with an average height of just 5'10". That's pretty surprising considering you've got all these big defenders and stuff like that. Then again, the highest height is actually 6'10" for Hoof FC, so I suppose maybe there's quite a big amount of space in between here. They're quite light players, so that's going to make Harry Maguire stand out like a sore thumb. They've got a couple of other things as well. They do have the best first touch and the best passing of any team in the league, so that's something that is going to come huge to them. Obviously, that's going to be such a massive factor. They've also got the lowest strength of any team throughout the entire league, so not a lot of power. Maybe if you come up against a shithouse FC, I'm not too sure if I fancy being some of those players getting bashed around left, right and centre. Their goalkeepers have the best kicking of any of the downside is though, if they're going to just be hoofing big balls up with these kicks, who's going to get to it if they've got no power in any of the players? That might not really have a factor at all, and they do have the lowest strength of anybody and defenders in all positions, so it will be difficult for them to be able to get on the end of those balls. Their midfield has the best vision and best technique of anybody. Their attack has the best finishing, which is obviously massive because they're goal scorers essentially. You know they're goal scorers, so every team has to be wary of that. They've got the best agility in any team. They do have very low jumping reach, and it is the lowest of any team, but that is obviously connected to their low height. They've got some really solid mentals and off the ball and vision, and in technique you can see they just run away with the whole thing. They've got all the technique of everyone. They do have the lowest marking technique of everyone, and I did say previously I'm not too sure what necessarily the difference is in that, but you can see they do have, like, if you just look at their midfielders alone, they have such a strong midfield. Add in attackers, yeah, you can see all of the lines go upwards, which is good to see if you are a Bayern Munchies fan. Jumping over now to the Waterloo Hotspur team, and if we look at a couple of theirs, they don't have quite as many things to point out, I didn't feel. I think a lot of the time what you can notice is they are above the curve on almost everything, I felt. The thing to point out here is they are also a very small team, and when you look at these kind of general stats, they're very young, they're not very big, they're very light, not quite as light as the other team, but they are still a very light team, very small, and not as much money put into them. They do have higher than average player value, but still a good 7 million short from their opponents. And yeah, when you go through them, the only real thing I found to look out for is that they had the most flair of any team, so you're looking for things just to be a bit unpredictable about them. They have some good above the curve stats on all areas, but obviously we know, if you're part of this CCL, I'll probably explain it a lot because it's the most interesting strategy of any day, is that old lady plays, who's the manager of Waterloo Hotspur. She's looking for a very dynamic and personality based team, so she's going a lot to make sure people can communicate with each other, and she's just trying to turn all of the curves that way. She wants this dressing room atmosphere to be absolutely full straight away. This team cohesion she's going to want to fire up as the training goes on. So yeah, she's looking for those kind of aspects as opposed to these strictly physical ones of other teams. But I'm not too sure if I like that against a team as physically solid as Bayern Munchies, especially because Bayern Munchies seem like they're going to lack in strength and size, and it doesn't look like the Waterloo Hotspur team are the ones to come against that. We can actually look at their previous game as well, because that is going to be something that will tell us a little bit how this might go. So you can see from some of the stats that Messi was a ginormous influence, done 2 assists, 2 key passes, very, very solid player out here. You got some good play out of Silva as well. I believe that's Bernardo Silva. Yeah, some good play out of Bernardo Silva as well. I did see Correa, not sure the pronunciation. I did see Correa had some really good runs when I was watching it back. But yeah, you saw some good play. A couple of knocks on some of the defenders in the Bayern Munchies team, which isn't the best in the world. So yeah, you can see in the little statistics at the bottom, Waterloo Hotspur did have better possession. They did foul a little bit more, but when you talk about attack, there's no competition here. They just got absolutely swarmed by the Bayern Munchies attack, and obviously you don't need to look too hard to see why. Messi, Coutinho, Hazard and Griezmann, it's not exactly a surprise as to why they're such a dangerous threat on the attack. So that is the game that we are going to be playing today. There's some good games throughout this, but I've got a feeling this one might just be the spiciest of the lot. We have that little rivalry heating up, as you did see Bayern Munchies come back in the last game after being down 3-2. So you know they've got a bit of fight in them, and let's see if they're able to do it again, or if Waterloo Hotspur are finally going to get on the same page and keep that lead when they get it. Just having a look at this Waterloo Hotspur team, you can see Jimenez is injured, which has gave way for Diego Carlos to get into the squad. He will be in the starting lineup today, and as we said, he has the lowest earning player of everyone, so let's see if he can bump himself up a bit in the standings today. Other than that, it does look like essentially the exact same team we've seen out last time. You did see James Rodriguez came on the last game, so we'll see if there's any scope for that. But I do think that this might be the strongest lineup coming forward. Jimenez only got a 6.4 in the last game, so you do have to think that maybe it's not the worst thing in the world they've missed him, although their defence didn't do very well in the last game, whereas the midfield did absolutely spectacularly. So that is an interesting note to take away from that last game. And jumping into the Bayern Munchies team, you can see that there is a couple of knocks on a few of the players, and they did pick up some yellow cards, which I have realised will send them off in the next game. It wasn't something intended, but that might add an extra layer of intrigue in there. There is a lot of players with some knocks though. You can see that on the bench you do have Stones, Coman and Azpilicueta, and I'm just hoping I'm saying that right, but the three of them are off because they have taken knocks. And another thing to point out is there's a couple of guys that have some fitness concerns. You do have Grimaldo here and Thiago, each have taken at least a little bit of a knock, so they're unsure about them, and Keita here is also in that boat. So they do have some players who have been hurt, but the only player coming on that didn't play in the previous late game is the big man Harry Maguire, and as we said in our previous breakdown, that might just be perfect for them to have a player that big and that strong to bully the Waterloo Hotspur players out the way. That could be quite interesting. So we'll jump into commentary now, and I will see you in a minute. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to our second match day of the season, which pits Waterloo Hotspur against Bayern Munchies in the Community Cup first round. These two teams clashed with each other just a few days ago in the Community League, and we saw Bayern Munchies overturn a 3-2 to Waterloo Hotspur and turn that into a 4-3, so they have that fight in them and they have that control. But you can see that both of these teams have some incredible players, and from the last game, the thing to point out was the attack of the Bayern Munchies was just so strong. Meanwhile, that midfield for Waterloo Hotspur just really was able to get it done. They might look a little leaky at the back, but that midfield is nothing to be sniffed at. The big introduction to this game is the defender on both sides. You have Diego Carlos in that ball-playing defender role, and he is coming in for the injury of Jose Jimenez. Meanwhile, Harry Maguire is coming in. He is the biggest man on the pitch, and that might make a difference against the likes of Diogo Jota and Paulo Dybala, who are all going to be trying to use their quickness and speed to get around that defence. So we're going to jump into this game now, and I look forward to watching it with you. So first things first, I want to point out that is a beautiful kit in Bayern Munchies, if I do say so myself. That is really nice, really stands out, but you have that classic clean look about Waterloo Hotspur, and you have to think they have a little bit of influence about their strip from maybe another team out there. But yeah, so you know Waterloo Hotspur have a lot to overcome in this game that they lost the last game. It's only 2 minutes in and Harry Maguire has already picked up a yellow card in the Bayern Munchies team. The ball goes through to Griezmann, perfect start, and it's a save by Oblak. That was a very risky chance right off the bat. Messi feeding the ball through to Griezmann, and these are players you cannot give that second to. And now we have Messi banging that corner in, and there's there was a dodgy one in there, but it's now a counter-attack. Dybala is pushing forward. He does have support with him coming up, but unfortunately, big Harry Maguire stops him in his tracks, and I think that is going to be a talking point of today's game. Unfortunately though, since he has that yellow card, he will have to be on best behaviour, but I think there is going to be some struggle for Waterloo Hotspur to break through and get those attacks in. You can see all the possession once again going the way of Waterloo Hotspur, and that is a big part of their game plan. Dybala with the cross in, just almost gets the header to it, but it slips over the man. You got Marino here, hits a back. Bernardo Silva is able to do anything. The defender Carlos here gets tackled. That's in a bad position. Unfortunately, they can't capitalise. Johnny gets the ball and holds it up for a brief second to allow his team to get back in position. That's some good intelligence from Johnny. Got Silva out in the wing here, is able to slip past his man and get a cross in. Switches it back to Johnny. Marino here, can he do anything? Out to Johnny, Johnny's back in again. Can he get a little pass in? Marino, maybe a left foot shot? No, is he just trying to set something up? A lot of confusion here, I feel, out of the Waterloo Hotspur team. Goes to Bernardo Silva. Great passing though, and there's a shot, and it's an unfortunate one. I think Johnny maybe got a little bit too scared there. Didn't really know what was going on and fired that shot out there. But we are seeing some good control and good measuredness out of Waterloo Hotspur so far. If they can just convert it and wait for an opportunity to present itself. Looks like a really strong sort of tiki-taka style to begin with. I don't really know what the game plan was there. That's to just completely shut down me as the commentator's opinion of the tiki-taka style, because that was not that game plan whatsoever. So we're back with Bayern Munchies now, pushing forward. The ball goes out, it does go to Messi, who finds himself in a bit of space. He manages to get the pass off. It was a dodgy one, but he does get it. Coutinho switches it to the other side. Lovely ball to Grimaldo. He's in the box, he is clear to get a pass in, but he decides to be selfish, goes for the shot, and you have to think the attackers are not going to be happy about that decision from Grimaldo there. But so far, it's been 50-50. Waterloo is getting the shots off, but I don't know if they're necessarily doing too much with them. I think the more clinicalness is coming from Bayern Munchies, who have got every shot they've taken on target, but the possession is going Waterloo Hotspur's way, and that goes a long way in football. Goes right into the box from that, but it's headed out. Bernardo Silva is starting the counter-attack. Doesn't have a lot of pace on him. Dybala does though. He gets it. He's one on. Well, he isn't. He's got closed down, but that was some good defending to be able to get both men both sides of him. But Dybala, it's just showing how much of a dangerous threat he can be up that centre position. He is on the corner now as well, so he does have many layers to his game. The corner comes in. Lenglet! Oh, just over the bar. That was a close one though, and it's something for Bayern Munchies to think about. Both teams have quite small players, but if they're able to get headers off, that's evening it up for each team. Each team have that opportunity about them. Right into the box. Oblak picks up easy. Can't go that close to a keeper of this quality, and he has just proven that there. He does pass it small, and it is shown that these keepers aren't going to want to really send the ball too far. I do know that the best kicking in the league does come from Ederson, but Bernardo Silva here is cutting right through. Good tackle, but it goes to Dybala. Dybala goes one-on-one, cannot finish it, cannot convert it into a goal. He has to be kicking himself about that, because you don't get handed many opportunities that overtly in this game, and that's a big miss for Dybala. But we are right back into another highlight for Waterloo Hotspur here. They are just calming it down, keeping it slow. They managed to hold the ball on a little bit, which is different from what Relegation Athletic did last week when we watched. Diego Jota here, he does get into the box and past his man. Is he going to go for a shot maybe? He does. Ederson easily picks it up, no power on it. You have to think that's a wasted opportunity from Jota, who could have made a pass there, I feel. We're straight in. There's quite a lot of highlights coming out of this game, but surprisingly, no goals yet compared to their last game where they managed to do a combined 7 goals. You wonder if it's just going to explode later on in the game, or if this one is going to be a calm affair for what we do see of it. Hazard now pushing forward. Does cut in a little bit, and he gets a lovely ball over to Messi. Messi is just wide open all the time here. He gets that pass in. Oh, lovely goal for Griezmann. Absolutely beautiful. That was a brilliant play. And how does Griezmann get past the defenders? I will not know. But Messi sets it up once again. Griezmann clinically puts that away. It is 1-0 Bayern Munchies. fantastic. There was a lovely ball over from Hazard. Messi just effortlessly finds a little pocket of space to get that ball in. Griezmann just flies in, flinging limbs everywhere, and manages to send his team 1-0 up. Waterloo Hotspur are on the back foot once again. All of the shots are going to Waterloo Hotspur as well, so you have to feel that's a real kick in the teeth to know that they are not able to send it away that well. That was a lovely pass by Arthur there. He not get his legs taken away. He gets a shot off, but it's quite a disappointing one. Oblak, he's not going to go get taken out by little shots like that. You really have to make this keeper work, and a shot like that from Arthur is not going to do that. It is surprising that there's so much of the game seems to be going Hotspur's way, but all of the good opportunities are going to Bayern Munchies. I don't know why they keep going for these long throws. I'm not sure if they're expecting a defender to get in Oblak's way maybe and tie him up a little bit, but you have to think they have to stop going so close to him on those throw-ins. Kovacic here in the middle. Marino gets a nice ball over to Bernardo Silva. He seems to be playing everywhere. Is that the same Silva? I'm not entirely sure. I'm starting to doubt myself now. Lovely ball over Jota. He gets it in. It's 1-1. What a ball across. Jota gets himself in a great position. This time he drives it away. We are all square here in the Community Cup, and Jota manages to get a lovely touch on that ball. It's quite a difficult angle for him to be able to send that in, but he does it perfectly, and Ederson has been beaten here. Lovely touch on it. Takes so much measuredness and control to be able to put a shot like that away, but he manages to do it with time to spare. Brilliant play, and it is all good. Here's a good free kick from Dybala. It doesn't go anywhere. It gets right into the wall. Kovacic here on the outside slightly. Go back out to Dybala. They're just taking it back a second. They're not trying to rush anything. They want to take their time on these opportunities. Goes to Cahea, maybe slip it through to Jota again. He doesn't. He switches back. Marino's looking quite open for all these passes. He's making himself very available in this game. Johnny gets tackled though. That's a bad position for that, but it does go out for a throw-in. Buys a little bit of time for Waterloo Hotspur. We are seeing some good performances though out of Bernardo Silva and Diogo Jota. Bernardo Silva is just a man everywhere on this pitch. He is such a threat, and he is having a fantastic performance so far in this game. Johnny cuts across Jota once again, and that was an awkward scramble from Ederson. It does go out for a corner kick. I'm not sure what happened there, but he faltered slightly and he has not saved that, and if this goes in, you have to blame Ederson for it. It does not go anywhere. It goes right over. That was quite awkward positioning for Waterloo Hotspur. They should have had someone on that back post to be able to capitalise on that. Ederson choosing to keep it small. He isn't trying to risk it. All these players are small here, so none of them want to give the ball away in easy opportunities like that. Grimaldo now surging down the wing. Nowhere. Goes absolutely nowhere. Terrible attempt from Grimaldo there. Hazard's trying to get the tackle in. It's back to Silva. Over to Marino. He's just holding up the play a little bit. Correa's been a little bit quiet in this game so far, which is surprising. Seen a lot more out of some other players. It is a good performance so far from Diego Carlos, showing that even if he is the least paid player on the pitch, he is just as good as any other man on his day. Ball switched over. Diogo Jota. He's been playing well so far. Can he get past his man? No, he does. Gets around him. Going to slip on the inside. Lovely run. Just, he doesn't have the finishing at times. He did finish that volley perfectly, but when you're just talking, he has the ball at his feet and he's trying to kick it. He just seems to lack a little bit of power and a little bit of unpredictability that would really benefit him. We have a corner here. Thiago to take it. Whips in lovely power on that, but it is cleared away. Griezmann has it. Back to Thiago, bit of space to pass it in. Goes to Coutinho. He's got a second. I don't know what he was trying there, just to pass it in, and that brings the first half to a close. Just doing a review of these match statistics here at half time, and you can see most of the shots have came from Waterloo Hotspur, but obviously Bayern Munchies have been a lot more accurate in getting theirs on target. There's been more clear-cut chances for Waterloo Hotspur, but again, that is because they have taken so much more. It does show that their possession is translating into opportunities, but you have to think their final third just isn't coming through. It looks like there's much more from the heading department out of Waterloo Hotspur, so they are the better team in that regard, which is kind of surprising, but someone had to be, and both teams don't have too much there. It is saying the average of the players in Waterloo Hotspur are performing a little bit better, and you have to think that is just because of that midfield. Although there is a good performance coming out of Lenglet at the back, it says Firpo is only a 6.1, and honestly, I have not even seen him once in this game. So likewise for a couple of the players though, in the Bayern Munchies team, haven't seen anything of Hernandez or anything of Kyle Walker, so maybe a little bit more work needed out of them as we come into the second half. Now we do know in the last game Bayern Munchies came alive as we came into the final stages of the game, so I wonder if it's going to be the same here, or Waterloo Hotspur clued up now. They know exactly what Bayern Munchies are going to be aiming for, and they're going to do everything they can to prevent them from being able to get that. Straight away here, it looks like much more chances are coming out of Waterloo Hotspur in the second half. They are getting some in target as well, but they're just nothing clear cut, it seems like. There is a run here. Correa is pushing forward. Lovely ball in and almost slips to the far post, but it doesn't quite make it. Correa again, just getting it back to Marino, who does like to hold it up a little bit. Lovely ball out to Firpo. That was great by Kovacic, but it doesn't go anywhere. Firpo should have really tried to translate that into a pass back, but that was some good creativity out of Kovacic there, and that is something you love to see in the game. Nothing much coming out of this second half so far. It's been fairly quiet. We are starting another highlight here, and it is Hernandez. I have noticed him for the first time in the game. I think that was a little bit of a dodgy cross over there to Walker, but now Messi gets taken by Diogo Jota, who is having a stormer of a game, and to dispossess Messi like that is always good. But I don't know what his final third is. He doesn't have a finishing game, it appears. Obviously, that was a beautiful finish to the volley, but that is he just got a foot on it. I don't know, he just controlled the power essentially, but when it comes to just taking a shot, he just doesn't have anything clinical about his finishing in this game. Griezmann goes forward, one-on-one with the keeper. Lovely ball over to set that up, but Oblak gets to it. It's not the best shot in the world. Diego Carlos does manage to clear it. There is cooler heads happening in the Waterloo Hotspur side, but Bayern Munchies are starting to turn it up a little bit and get the fire going. Goes to Messi, back up to Griezmann. It's 3 at the back for Waterloo Hotspur, so they do have some people there. Over to Hazard. There's a lot of forwards around the area now for Bayern Munchies. Goes to Griezmann. Is he able to get anything out of it? Arthur, a nice ball over to Grimaldo. Back to Hazard. Lots of passes here. They're doing very well. Maybe just taking one step too much though. Nope, it goes to Hazard. He's one on. Oh, it's close. Messi finishes it. It's in. 2-1 to Bayern Munchies. What a play, you have to say. They absolutely passed that in and around the box to absolute perfection, and unfortunately there's nothing Waterloo Hotspur could have done there to have been able to handle that. Grimaldo and Hazard, just absolutely beautiful between them. That pass back into Hazard was thing of perfection. Oblak gets there, but he can't deal with the counter, and Lionel Messi sends them into the lead for the second time in this game. What a brilliant second half so far from Bayern Munchies, and Waterloo Hotspur have a lot to catch up on now. Kovacic right over to Bernardo Silva. He has been the star man for them in this game. He just gets a cam pass back to Marino, who's always in space. Marino's just holding it up, looking for the right man. Kovacic to Jota. Correa back to Jota. Is Jota able to actually finish it this time? He does. He turns it up as soon as his team go behind. Diego Jota brings it back. They are 2-2 now. What a brilliant comeback for Diego Jota and Waterloo Hotspur. They show that they have that fight as well. They're able to come back when they go down. As soon as they have that little bit of momentum shift, they are able to snatch it right back. And now we are all square once again. Lovely little ball through. And Jota showing that all of my criticisms so far are unfounded, and he is able to clinically put that ball away, and he's sitting there on a 9 rating now, so you have to say he has made the right call in being so involved in this game. It is now a free kick and to Bayern Munchies, and they do have some stunning free kick takers. It is Coutinho, lovely ball over. Oblak, it has a dodgy save. He just about gets to it. It was a little central, so it wasn't the hardest save that he's ever made. There's a man from Waterloo Hotspur right in the face here. I don't know what the what was happening there. I don't know if there's a little scuffle going on, but he has been sent back by the referee. He is waiting to just jump in. Thiago with the ball in. It is sent away, and the comeback is on here. Then we have the counter-attack. Dybala pushing forward. Cannot get past his man. And Griezmann with a terrible tackle. That should have, it was a yellow card. I thought the referee was going to let him off there. That was a terrible tackle, and if he just went to ground, it would have definitely been a red in my opinion. Griezmann done whatever he could to keep his team in it there, but that isn't the type of football we like to see all of the time. Bernardo Silva here is able to switch it back at. No, he goes straight forward. He is right on with the keeper. He goes for the shot. Awkward left-footed shot though, and it is saved by Ederson. We're on 70 minutes here. Is anyone able to break this deadlock and get their team in the lead to take this game home, or are we looking at going through to the next stages of the game? There's only one sub being made so far, and it is Azpilicueta. I'm just going to keep saying that and hope I eventually get it. Azpilicueta has came on for Kyle Walker, and that is a great sub because Kyle Walker has just been non-existent in this game so far. Nothing at all out of him. Moreno, sorry. Correa. Back to Marino. It does switch across. It goes nowhere. It's going to Messi. That was a terrible pass by Marino, who has had a good game so far. But it does come back to the Waterloo Hotspur team, to Jota. Is he able to do anything with it? Lovely, lovely tackle by Azpilicueta there. It's back to Hazard. He is running forward. He's keeping it slow though. It's not a very quick attack. He does get past his man for a second. Gets the cross in. It's lovely. Goes to Thiago. It does not. Kovacic managed to get the clearance up to Dybala. Is this the counter-attack we were waiting for? There is a lot of men coming forward for Waterloo Hotspur. Is anything able to happen here? Dybala does get the ball in. It goes to Silva. Silva with the volley, but it just bounces off the first defender. That was a good counter-attack though. There's a lot of good things to see from both teams here. I'm wondering if the managers are watching, thinking that there is many negatives they're seeing in their team and hoping to plan changes for the future. But I think there is a lot of positives here. Grimaldo pushing forward. Quite slow from the Waterloo Hotspur defender there, but he does still go forward. He turns it up a gear. As soon as I say that, Correa brings it back for his team. We now have Versalgico is on for Waterloo Hotspur. Lovely free kick, and it just goes slightly left of the post. Didn't quite have the curl on that to be able to make it a threat. And James Rodriguez has came on for Jota. That is a controversial pick for Waterloo Hotspur with Jota with the 2 goals. We also have seen Isco come on for Coutinho. Another good pick. I am liking these decisions by the Bayern Munchies manager. I'm not too sure about that Jota one from Waterloo Hotspur. Firpo was a good choice to come off, but you want to see that man stay on. Jota has been very involved in the whole game. No reason to take him off. I would have maybe have considered Dybala myself, but I am not a manager. I am just a commentator, and we are through to penalties. Yes, straight through to penalties. Dybala here is the first one. We're taking it through Waterloo Hotspur. I got thrown off a bit here. He does convert it. It'll take a minute to breathe because penalties came out of nowhere there, and finished 2-2, and now we are through to the penalty shootout round. No extra time in this competition, and it is Eden Hazard to take the first one for Bayern Munchies, and he converts it. We are 1-1, and this means the game is essentially completely up in the air, a complete 50-50 opportunity here for either team to go through. Silva, and it's turned in. That was good jumping from Ederson, and he did make a good attempt to save it, but unfortunately he just misses. And now Lionel Messi, the star player in any team, you have to think Messi is going to send this one home. And does he? He does not. Oblak manages to show that he is the superstar in this pitch. He gets the save. Lionel Messi is going back to the corner to his team with his head tucked down, sad and unhappy. And now we are all on Waterloo Hotspur to bring this one home. James Rodriguez converts it. We are looking good for Waterloo Hotspur to go through at the next round. Bayern Munchies have to be big favourites in this to go through to the final stages, and they could be out in the first round right here, right now. Isco up from the second one for Bayern Munchies. Is he able to do better than Messi? He does, sends it right down the middle. Quite controversial, quite risky, but he manages to get that goal, and Oblak dies out of the way. On to Kovacic now. He has had a reasonable game, some good flair and creativity from him. He does get the penalty as well, so nothing changes about that for him. And you have to think the Waterloo Hotspur, they're one away from being able to turn this into the game, take this to the second round of this competition. They've got all 4 penalties, and we cannot see a miss from Bayern Munchies if we want this to go through at the next stage here. Bayern Munchies have the next penalty. It is Thiago, all of the pressure bearing down on his shoulders to take his team through. Is he able to handle this moment? We will see right now. Takes it, and it is in. Oblak cannot reach it. Thiago manages to get that, and they're living to fight another day. Now it's all down to this penalty for Waterloo Hotspur. If they are able to get this penalty in, I think that means it is game, set and match. It is Correa taking it. Correa hasn't had the most active game in the world here, but he has been a good player for them consistently through the 2 games, and we will see if he is able to do that once again here right now. It's all on him. He can send Waterloo Hotspur through the next round and take out one of the major players. Is it in? It is! Waterloo Hotspur go through it the second round. Bayern Munchies are out of the Community Cup. That is devastating for them. That is really, really hard luck on them. But Waterloo Hotspur go through, and they are going to face someone else in the next round. That was a fantastic game, and it was so closely contested throughout. I'm surprised that we didn't see more goals, to be honest. Those are 2 teams that banged much more goals in, but there was plenty of shots, and you see just how clinical Bayern Munchies are with their shots. 12 shots, 10 on target, but it wasn't enough. The pressure, the possession, and the overall shots from Waterloo Hotspur was enough to send them through into that final stage, and they converted to penalties and got through that game. Lionel Messi does not pick up man of the match, as I was about to say. It is Diogo Jota, who is the fair man with the 2 goals for his team. That was a fantastic performance, and yeah, that was great. I can't wait to see who Waterloo Hotspur are going to face in the next round, because they might be a tough team to beat with performances like they had out there today. Thanks for joining us today, and we will see you next week when we are playing matches in the league. As always, a little message to the other content creators. We're about to show the results from all the other games, so if you wanted to break down your own game, just tune away now and jump back into us after you've had a look at it. So what a wild ride that first round of the Community Cup was, and again some big names have been knocked out here, which is really interesting. Just starting at the top, How I Met Your Mata didn't manage to score, and neither did ABT Boys, but How I Met Your Mata put them out on penalties, and ABT Boys, despite coming through and winning their first game in the league, they are out of the cup now, done first round. And then you look at that second one, and Cornish Marauders have just established themselves as one of the absolute powerhouse teams. They managed to get a 4-2 win over Oblique Ramblers. This time, the 3 attackers are just absolutely outstanding. Sane, Aguero and Mane just banging in goals and setting up assists left, right and centre, and they do it once again here. Another 4 goals, and Oblique Ramblers did get the 2 goals, 3 minutes and 5 minutes. You have to think they were so confident they were going to get through, but unfortunately, 4 goals back from Cornish Marauders. What great fight and what great performance from them. Plus, if you look at that, they were down up until 70 minutes, and then they managed to score 3 goals in the next 15 minutes. That's just a beautiful comeback for Cornish Marauders, and whoever that Oblique Ramblers manager is must be pretty gutted right now. And then a really unfortunate performance from Donmaster Rovers as 3 goals fly into them from Fletcher Jets. Just a clean, straight up dominant performance from Fletcher Jets. They got all of them. Gabriel Jesus with another goal, or is it Gabriel Jesus? Not sure. But he gets another goal for his team, and Donmaster Rovers are going to be feeling pretty bad right now with 2 losses, look just like Oblique Ramblers. Relegation Athletic comes back with this one and a win over Wato Attack in what was a really close game. They did have the lead all the way up until 72 minutes, and then Wato Attack drew it all back up with those 2 goals, but it does go to penalties, and Relegation Athletic have put themselves through the next round. Also, RB Keebs, even though they had that big upset last time, they did get put out by a Jamie Vardy goal in Shithouse FC, and Mikaelinho will be really happy that his team are going through the next round as a result of that. Now look at this for a comeback. You've got the Cookie Collective versus Custard Donuts. First 2 minutes, Cookie Collective are 1-0 up. 26 minutes in, they are 2-0 up. They're looking good. They're coasting. Straight away Harry Kane levels it up. And then at 67 minutes, or straight away Harry Kane gets the first goal for Custard Donuts. Gets all leveled up at 67. And then all the way 80 minutes, the game is sent home for Custard Donuts as they manage to get their third goal of the game. Then you've got Wakefield City pick up their first win, putting Hoof FC out, who did play really well in their previous game. You got goals from Benzema, Van de Beek and Matuidi, totally pronouncing that right. And unfortunately for Hoof FC, they can't capitalise on their league success and they are out of the league, or they are out of the cup. Waterloo Hotspur, as we just saw in the game, Diogo Jota scoring 2 goals to send them through. Bayern Munchies, along with the Oblique Ramblers, the top 2 predicted teams to win the league, both out in the first round. That is interesting. That is very, very interesting. I'll just have a little look on when we next hear about the next round kicking off, because I haven't checked that previously. So I think if I just go to stages and we just jump into the second round, this will get drawn 1 day after this. So you know what, I'm just going to draw the next round right now instead, because there's no point in me continuing forward instead of drawing this round. So I will catch you in 1 second once I've skipped ahead. Okay, here we are now. We have the quarterfinal of the Community Cup to draw. We have some really good teams in there. You have to think from the first performances, Cornish Marauders should be your favourites coming into this. I'm not too sure, maybe Shithouse FC could be in with a shout too. Maybe Waterloo Hotspur, considering they have scored quite a few goals in their first couple of games, but we will see what happens here. So first team, Relegation Athletic, they are matched up against Fletcher Jets. That's a really good game between those two. Waterloo Hotspur have Shithouse FC. I'm really, really interested to see that one. Waterloo Hotspur have shown their top goal scorers, but Shithouse FC are yet to be beaten in this competition. Custard Donuts are going to be drawn with Cornish Marauders, and they have to have just gulped very largely in the face of the number 1 team in this league standing in front of them. And then of course that means How I Met Your Mata versus Wakefield City. I wonder who's going to come through this. Looking through it, it's quite evenly matched in some of these teams. I do think the biggest underdogs have to be Custard Donuts in this one, but yeah, there's some good matchups there, and I can't wait to see how they go. But yeah, so out of that, yeah, there's some good games, and then I'd suppose we'll decide what we come back for based on how all of this plays out. So I'm not entirely sure now. I'll let people know ahead of time what game we're going to be playing throughout these. What I'm looking at, is there anything standing out specifically to me? Bayern Munchies versus ABT Boys maybe, but we've already seen Bayern Munchies before, so we won't come back for that one. But alas, anyways, we'll discover that when it comes time. Thanks for watching today, guys. I really appreciate it. We're all really loving the CCL so far, and I hope to see you in the league next time.